Hey guys, so yeah, I need to get better at this. I was doing really good doing daily, and then junk started happening in life. And honestly, the last thing I thought about was sitting in front of a camera. And I've got to be better about it because y'all that have been subscribing to me and have been awesome, I owe it to you guys. That I've just had so much going on in my head lately. And when I had the panic attack issues, and I know how much stress affects your body. And then I literally have just been able to feel myself just retaining water. And it doesn't matter how much water I drink. I've been having like no sodium in my food at all, making everything at home. So I don't have any kind of sodium coming in really. And things just have been suck, for lack of a better word. After I got over my panic attack situation, I made my video that day. And the next thing I know, just you know how sometimes you just put stuff off, you don't want to think about it, you don't want to dwell on it, you just want to kind of like let things roll. That's kind of the way I've been dealing with stuff is, you know what, this will all work itself out and whatever. And just different things have happened that I've just kind of been doing a lot of looking at, okay, is this, what is my goal? What is my end goal? Like where am I going with this life? Like, what am I doing with it? Just different things. And I've made videos to talk about these things before, and I've always canceled them and just not put them up. But I'm just going to lay stuff out today. I'm just going to tell you guys what's going on, why I get flighty, why probably part of why I had my panic attack, other than the obvious what week it was, and why I've been struggling with depression more. And my counselor said, it's just something, this is like one of those things, like, I just have to get through this. It's not clinical depression. It's just a depressive episode that anybody can get. It has nothing to do with my depression issues. It's completely separate. It's just trying to find a new norm in my life and still working on finding out who I am. Like, I have a better idea of who I am, but at the end of the day, I'm still struggling with the fact that I live somewhere that I don't have friends locally. And I always thought, like, we go to a new church, I think I have friends, and then I just don't. Like, they just stop talking to you because you leave that church because that church isn't a good fit for you. And I find that, like, ironic because these people are supposed to be your friends. And then because it doesn't mean I don't believe in God. It doesn't mean I don't believe in any of that stuff. And if you guys don't, it doesn't bother me. But I'm not going to be somewhere in a church that tells me that I have to judge other people or that I have to not have relationships with people I've been friends with for years because of their lifestyle. Because here's the thing. I totally believe what some churches teach, and I understand what the Bible says. But the Bible never tells me that I have the right to judge someone else or not treat them as a person or not treat them with respect because they are different than I am. And so I have a very hard time with churches that tell that and that preach that. And so we just haven't fit with a lot of churches here because I'm not going to be okay with people trash talking other people who are different. And I'm not going to be okay in a church that says one thing and does another. And I've been to a lot of those churches down here in Alabama. Went to one church where, it was, we're going to love everybody. And I loved that church. I loved everything about it. And then when we helped open up the new branch, the pastor was telling people, if you don't tithe, you're just a butt in a seat. But that's not what the main pastor's vision was. And I know that for a fact. But when I tried to approach the main pastor about my concerns, well, he wanted to have this big meeting with the other pastor there too. And I was like, no, I just want to talk to you about how I'm feeling. Like, I want you to counsel me on how to deal with this. I don't want to have it. Well, if you're going to discuss him, then he really needs to be here. No, I'm coming to you for a one-on-one, whatever. And I said, fine, forget it. And then within a month of that, because he obviously told the pastor I had concerns, the other pastor started spreading lies about me, telling the other pastor that telling the head pastor that we weren't showing up to do our volunteering, that we weren't letting anyone help us, like all this stuff that wasn't true. And I got really hurt by that because I had put my blood, sweat, and tears literally into this church. And really thought it was going to make a huge difference, only to be backstabbed by someone who was supposed to be leading that particular location of the church. And then another church, I was told because I was a woman, I couldn't do certain things, and I don't subscribe to that at all. I mean, I'm not like a feminist, like a raging crazy feminist, but I know I can do whatever anybody else can do. And it's just whatever. Um, and then another church, when my daughter and her boyfriend broke up, because he was being physically abusive to her, um, the kids in the church took his side. And when I reached out to the pastor, like, can you talk to her? Can you help her? Can you work out with them? Like, can you deal with the situation? Because it's not my place to step in as a parent. And we got crickets. We literally got crickets. And then they kept trying to convince her friend who left at the same time to come back, but they never approached my daughter. It was dead silence to her. And they just kept saying, well, we need to sit down and have a meeting. All this stuff about meetings. There doesn't need to be a meeting. He was lying and we had proof and nobody wanted to talk about it. Like, we said we'd have a meeting, but they wanted to have him there and she didn't want to be around him. And then it was just so much drama. And they uninvited her to a youth event because he wanted to go. She was 21, 22, 22, 23, something about that. And he was almost 30. He wasn't a college kid. He's a grown adult. And they were kicking out a girl who was the right age over a guy who, whatever. And my daughter was like, I can never go back there. So we took her side and we left. Because if you're going to not support my daughter, then I'm not going to support you either. We have spent money we didn't have to help churches. We were convinced that we needed to make these changes and, they need to do these things and we need to help. And, if it meant we had to be a little bit tight, God would provide for us, all the other stuff. And I believed that and we gave all this money and we don't even go there anymore. And then we found a church we loved and we started going and we loved the church. And it was like a 20-minute drive for us. Wasn't so bad. And then we found out because of where we lived, we actually need to go to a different church, which is almost an hour from us. And although I really believe in what they believe, the problem for me is that hours drive. I don't get off work till almost 9 o'clock in the morning. Church starts at 10. I start working at 5 o'clock in the morning. I am not going to get ready for church at 4 o'clock in the morning. And then 5 hours later, hop in a car and rush to church. I just can't do that. I have to get ready after I'm done teaching. And it's just something I can't do it. Like, it's just not gonna work. And so I really wanted to go to the other church, but they keep telling us no, we have to go to this church. And it just felt like such a mess. And we would go to that church and everybody there's known each other forever. And they've always been this religion. So they don't connect with me the same way. And as much as I want to go to a church building, it's so hard to go someplace where you don't feel like you have friends. And I mean, I'm not somebody who has a big group of friends ever, but I do like to have at least one person that I can call when I need to talk, or one person that I can go grab, a milkshake with, or a vat of fries or something where I just need to veg and just talk, or just be outside of my house with someone other than my husband or my son. Like, I just want that person. And I thought I had that person a while ago. And I was there for her through a lot of rough stuff she was going through. And then one day she just stopped talking to me. And she's like, well, I'm going through a lot right now. I just don't want to be around anyone. And okay, fine. And I'll agree. She doesn't go anywhere, but she just stopped talking to me. And I said, did I do anything wrong? She's like, no, you didn't. It's me. I'm just going through some stuff. And I'm like, well, I must have done something wrong. And of course, I beat myself up for months, only to find out the reason that she wasn't talking to me, she was back to seeing her ex-husband. And she didn't want to admit it to me because I guess she thought I would judge her on it, but she should have known better. But I think she's not proud of it. And that's okay. It's whatever. Do what you got to do. Like, I wouldn't have judged her. But I mean, I'm not super comfortable around her ex-husband because of some stuff that's happened. So it's whatever. But I just feel like I'm just lost to some extent because my close friends are in Connecticut, North Carolina, Denver. Like, that's where my friends all live. And it's hard because I can't just go somewhere and meet them for lunch or something like that. And I've tried to make friends locally and it just doesn't seem to work out. And it's kind of frustrating. And I just want to be somewhere where I have friends, at least a couple. Someone might call and be like, hey, what are you doing? And, come over and do yoga with me, or we'll want to go to the store, or just go grab lunch, or I don't know, just go people watch somewhere. And I don't have that right now, and that's super frustrating. And I've had, there's different stuff that's gone on that I talk to my husband, but he doesn't get it. Like, he's a dude, like he just doesn't understand. And so that's really frustrating. And then, with my panic attack stuff and my depressive episode, that didn't help. And back in July, we got a letter from the IRS telling us that back in 2017 taxes, we hadn't turned in a form, like an income form. But we were like, didn't have an income form for that company for 2017 because we took out a loan in 2016. It was a loan for 401k. Like, we shouldn't have gotten any kind of income form. Well, it turns out they processed our loan as a withdrawal, not a loan. So all this time we've been thinking the money coming out of his check, which was, I guess, for a different loan, that he took out before he met me, was that money too. And they had processed it wrong, but they never mailed us a 1099 because at some point in 2017, they switched our account without authorization to an online only, but we didn't have a login. So why would they have done that, not notified us? Like, they knew they screwed up. I feel like they knew they messed up. And I mean, not that I think they picked us out and like, oh, but I think they must have messed up on a whole bunch of people. And they just switched all the accounts to online only. Because that's the only way you get a form is if you log into your online account and you print it. But we wouldn't have made an online account and known to print it unless they notified us, which they didn't do. So, of course, now we're 2 years in. And, of course, they want 15 grand that we don't have. So that's one reason why I'm working as hard as I am at doing hours teaching online and now looking for a second online teaching job and trying to push my health coaching business because I really want to get that paid off because at the same time all this is going on, my husband's job, which has always had orders out the yin yang, suddenly doesn't have a whole lot of orders. And when this happened the last time, it wasn't too long before suddenly they announced they were closing his plant and we got moved down to Alabama. And we've discussed it. He's been with this company for 20 plus years. He's eligible to file retirement. Granted, he won't get any money until he turns retirement age, but he's eligible to file retirement. So we're considering our options. And, we could move back to Connecticut where my family is, but it's too expensive to live there. And we could move to Illinois where his family is, but it's dead. There's no jobs. There's no nothing. And we have a friend who lives in Utah who has said there's some job opportunities there that we could take. And we have another friend plus her we have two friends that can help us find a place to live and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so needless to say, it's, that's kind of what we're dealing with right now is do we take the chance and just go ahead and prep to move, which would mean we have to do some work on the house, which we don't really have the money for either. Figure out how to do that work ourselves and just start repainting stuff, start going through stuff, start packing stuff. Do we start that process or do we not and just hope his job works out here? I don't know what to do. I don't know what that answer is. So that's what I've been dealing with. That's where my head has been. That is why I'm stressed out. I'm not saying anything my daughter doesn't know. My son's aware. Like, this is a discussion we've had. And so it's all just a lot of trying to figure out what to do. Trying to make the best choice, because I don't want it to be where we turn down the opportunity to take a job that would pay well, actually more than what he makes now, and be able to find a place to live and all that kind of good stuff. And I would have a, pretty much guaranteed job. Plus, I could still teach online and do my health coaching. So we'd be in a much better financial situation. And just like, I don't know, like, do we turn that down? Sorry, it just bounced the table. Do we turn that down and stick with what we know, where I'm still having issues making a single friend that I can trust? Or do we move somewhere where we know people already that we do know and trust? Like, there's a friend of mine from high school and his wife. There's a girl we knew from Illinois who sold us our first house. There's multiple people there that we know. So it's like, do we do that? Do we make that change? And I don't know the answer right now. And I'm someone who's very much about, knowing what's going on, having a control of my life, like, and that's something I don't have right now. So I've been struggling. And I don't even know what to say about it, because I want to be positive about everything, but like right now, that time of the month is hit, and I know I'm so bloated, I can feel it everywhere, and it's not helping me at all. And I know with that panic attack last week, I know it's going to affect my weight this week. I'm not looking forward to weighing in. I'm still going to do it, but I am petrified to see what that scale is going to say, because I know I've been eating everything as I should. I've been doing really good with my food. I've been under calories where I need to be, and all this other stuff, but I can feel my water retention. I can feel it in my arms. Like, it's funny when you get to a point where you're really not retaining water anymore and you're really doing well losing weight, how when you do get bloated, you feel it in so many places so specifically. Like, I feel it in my arms. I feel it in my stomach. I feel it in my thighs. Like, in the sides of my thighs, I can feel it, like sides and front. And I can literally just feel, I feel it in my face. And I'm just like, oh, I feel miserable. And then I think, God, how miserable did I feel 100 pounds ago? And then I've just forgotten. This is probably nothing compared to what I used to feel every day. And now I'm just complaining because I know, like, I'm so swollen and I'm so bloated, and I'm just like, I know it's the stress, and I know I have to deal with my stress, and I'm trying so hard. But it's like, whenever I think I've got it figured out, something else comes up. And I just, like, right now, I just feel so much like I'm, like when you see like videos of like an animal trying to swim out of a river, and it's trying to grab the side of the river, and it gets a hold of it, and the dirt breaks away. Like, that's what I feel like constantly. And so I think my husband and I just need to take some time, sit down, and just make a choice, because once we've made a decision what we're going to do, then the rest of it is just planning. Either if we're going to be staying here, planning on what if this happens, and making sure we have enough money put in savings to fall back on, and all of that kind of stuff. If we decide we're going to go, we need to find out how much it would cost us to move. Do we want to use a moving company and just drive our vehicle with our clothes and stuff that we need right away? Do we want to do pods? Do we want to do a U-Haul? I don't want to do a U-Haul. If y'all know, I hate my husband's driving, and there's no way I'm going to sit beside him in a U-Haul, wait for him to hit somebody. Not going to happen. So it's either a moving company or pods, and we drive our van. Like, I've already decided that much. How much stuff do we keep? How much do we get rid of? Like, what don't we need to take with us into the new life if we move? Like, there's so many decisions to make if that happens. And I mean, I know it would be months out. It would be next year for sure. But I want to get us in a better financial situation before we do that. I want to get some bills paid off. So I think we're looking at, we have one of those adjustable beds, like the ones with the air, the Sleep Number beds. I think we're going to sell that for what we owe on it. And then just get an inexpensive mattress and box spring. That would take that bill off our table. And then just start looking at what bills we can knock off and take care of and sell as much stuff that we aren't using, and at least just get our lives to a point where I feel completely calm and decluttered, so that if we do decide we're going to move, we don't have that much to do. Because we do have, we have to take down some tree stuff, clear some stuff out, repaint our parking area, repaint some rooms. Like, there's a whole bunch of little stuff we have to do. But we would do it if we need to. So that's the thing. We're just going to figure it all out and get things set up and figure out what we're going to do. But sorry, this is super long, but I wanted to tell you guys what's been going on. And at least now that that's all off my chest, I can move forward and just talk about random crap for, daily stuff. But yeah, so that's why I'm flighty. That's why I'm a little bit crazy. And I don't know, just hoping that our income tax check is enough to kind of knock down that amount we owe to the federal government a lot, and maybe by some miracle I'll get a whole bunch of health coaching clients and I can pay off the rest of it, because I don't like having this extra bill over our head. One that I know that if I can't work, if something should happen, that my husband can't afford to pay it. So yeah, so that's what's been on my head. So aside from winning a lottery, which I don't play, so that's very difficult. So I guess randomly finding a winning lottery ticket. Or some like millionaire being like, you know what? I like you. Here's some money. Yeah. So right now it's just a little stressful for me. I think I'd be able to make the decision easier if we had less bills. But we use a lot of our savings to help my daughter go to China, like all of it. And they weren't paying her like they said they would. She had a lot of medical expenses because they never got her medical insurance like they said they would. And so her paying us back while she was over there just didn't happen like it should have. And it's just been a lot of craziness. And so I'm interviewing with a second company to pick up extra teaching hours. And I'll probably make a video about that too once I start, because a lot of it's marketing ourselves. So hopefully I can find some people who need an English tutor or an English tutor for their kids, and I can do that. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm just kind of a little bit stressed out, and I'm just trying to figure it all out, and eventually it'll all work out, and I know that, but there's a lot on my plate right now. It's kind of doing this at the top. I don't like that feeling. So anyhow, I'll talk to you guys later. I don't want to say longer and like draw you guys out forever, but I will talk to you later. Bye.